weird reason. I guess they just want to make sure you're ready.
Technology.
Oh, I love it. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, for those who are already joining us, thank you. We have David Howard Thornton tonight, Art the Clown from Terrifier. And we have a very special co-host tonight. We have Mark D.Valenti. He was on as a guest a couple months back because he's also an actor, but now he's a podcast host. So thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys are helping fill my, what do they call it? Borantine time?
Borantine. Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. So how is it where you guys are at tonight? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, between that and video games and movies, that's all I've been doing for like the past year. I'm just like, oh.
Random art projects that never get finished.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna start that and I got blurred. So oh, hello to everybody who's joining already and saying hello. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie about this. I watched Terrifier for the first time last night. And it's not because I didn't want to see it. It was because I'm one of those assholes. By the way, you can curse all you want on here.
Okay. Hey, fuck
drink
shit,
and curse.
damn.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, we're all adults. But I'm one of those people when people put like a lot of hype on something. I'm like, I'm gonna wait. So I'm sorry, not sorry, but I waited till last night to watch it. That way also my boyfriend can watch it because I've really gotten him into a lot of horror as well. So I'm just going to say we fucking loved it. You are amazing. I'm not much of a clown, like a horror movie. Not that I'm terrified of them or anything. Like some people have phobias of them. There's just a lot of clown movies. They were just too sappy or cheesy, but holy hell, it was just so naturally funny. Like when I don't even know how to explain it. It was just so funny because you're just so like snarky asshole, like or miming. You're not even making noises.
I do what I can. I just have fun. It's just, I think most of the time when I was filming, I was also just loopy anyway, because we're going off so many hours of no sleep and everything. So we're all just kind of just a little bit delusional.
Oh, geez. I can only imagine. You guys filmed like all of that at night, didn't you? Well, I mean, I don't know about the indoor stuff, but you guys.
Oh, we still did that at night too. I think it was easier for us to do it that way. I think we all just got programmed. I think that's why I'm such a night owl now. Is I got so used to just being up until like 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes filming.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to call out Joe for saying that we are her boring teen. Is that what she said we basically are? Teen?
Yeah. I knew you were going to give me shit tonight, Mark, and I love it. Give it to me.
I'm the co-host. It's okay.
That's right.
But then I got to ask David a digging deep question right off the bat.
Okay.
Which is, how has playing Art the Clown changed you?
Oh God, it's definitely changed my life. I mean, it's because before this I was waiting tables for 13 years. So that's definitely changed a lot of things for me there, because I no longer have to get yelled at for someone not getting enough ranch on the side of their salad. So
oh Lord, they don't need it anyway.
Oh, I know. I always love that. I have to have my salad dressing on the side. And as soon as they get there, just I'm like, that's what we do in the kitchen, but you just want the joy of just going. Bleh.
I made it myself. I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna upload it. Look what I made. It's fucking delicious.
I never understand those pictures. It's like, it's like, hey, look, it's a pizza. I'm like, yeah. It's like, it's just the most random thing. I'm taking a picture of my food, especially. And I understand if it's like fancy looking, like something you would see on like some baking show or something like that. But when it's just a hamburger and fries, you're like, okay, cool. I'm just glad they don't take a picture of the after. So
you haven't been on enough internet, sir.
yeah, there's probably something somewhere. What is it, like what rule 42 or what are the 30? That's one of those rules. Something that there's like something somewhere on the internet for it. So
Yeah. So how many people are searching right now as we're talking? So thanks for the visual.
Oh,
Right?
Lord.
So, yes.
I know. Just don't share it with me, please. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like I might do nasty stuff in the movies, but I'm not like that in real life.
Well, right.
Oh.
So I think that's a good point, right? So going
Yeah.
back to the question, like I get that it changed your life, right? As far as like what
Correct.
you're able to do.
Right.
But for you internally, psychologically, has it impacted you to kind of playing this character?
Not really. Because I've always been able to like differentiate myself from like the characters I play versus who I actually am in real life. I actually prefer to play characters that are the polar opposite of me. I find it easier to play something that's the opposite of myself because I can throw myself more into that kind of role for some strange reason because I can just let myself go. I'm like I can put my real self aside and play someone else.
So kind of embrace the whole character and leave yourself out of it for a bit.
Oh yeah, but I mean there are parts of art in me. I'm like I'm the prankster, so I mean I'm on set. I like to sometimes just creep up behind people and scare them and stuff like that. I'm amazed I have not been punched out yet on set by our female lead in part 2 because she has a huge fear of clowns in real life and. She's got like a black belt in so many different forms of martial arts, so she could probably just turn around and just totally just end me in like 2 punches.
Like judo chop.
Oh yeah. I'm like, it's me, Lauren. It's just me. I'm sorry. Then I fix my nose. Oh God.
You get more of a realistic, or it's like a realistic practical effect more than having to do the CGI. It's like we'll just break his nose.
Yeah. Like no, it's not a prosthetic anymore. It's my real nose. It's all just.
Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of people who's jumped on tonight. I love
that's fantastic.
Yes. Yes, hello, papers. I actually have a question for you from one of my Patreon supporters. Okay. Robert Hoffman wants to know what drew you into horror initially.
Oh gosh, I would say I was like a late bloomer to horror because my mom was terrified of horror films and she pretty much wore the pants in the family. Even though my dad would watch horror movies, but he would do that late at night after we had all gone to bed and he would be watching those late at night on TV and stuff like that. So I didn't really watch them until my senior year of high school. And I was doing a production of Christmas Carol and the cast went out to go see Scream 2 and they're like, Dave, you got to come. And I was like, I don't know. But there was a girl in the cast I had a crush on. And I was like, okay, I can't chicken out from this girl. I got to go. I'm going to go. And I had the most fun at that movie. And I'm like, oh my God, why does my mom say this stuff is so scary? This is fun. Oh my, yeah, it's a little scary at times. That's the fun of it. So I was like, oh my God. So after that, like when I went to college the next year, my roommate, he came from a very Southern Baptist, very Ned Flanders type of family, just golly gee willikers. So oh yeah, just the nicest people you could ever meet. But like he had never seen a boob before, so he was just like he was very naive. And so we're like, let's make up for lost time. So we would go and just rent stacks of tapes. For the younger audience, we used to watch movies on something called a video cassette, a VHS.
They kind of look like books with wheels in them.
Yeah. We had to go to stores, and they would rent them to us for a few days.
You mean you couldn't order it online and it just came to your house?
No. And you had to wait for it to be there because other people would check them out and they would only have like 1 or 2 copies. You're like, oh, please let them have one.
I miss Blockbuster and Hollywood videos so much. I do
too. There's something special about that. But that's how I got into horror. Is I started binge watching the classics and I did a lot of catching up and I was like, oh, this is so much fun. But I mean, I'd never done horror acting until Terrifier. I never even processed the idea that I could play a horror villain. I figured if I'm ever in a horror movie, I would be like the Randy type of character from Scream, or like the lovable asshole that gets killed off halfway through. So
you were the lovable asshole clown that killed everyone all the way through. So
you weren't. Best of both worlds, I guess.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure you've probably heard this on other shows and you probably expect this by now. And I was eventually going to get to it, but it's so much in the comments. I feel I have to bring it up now. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Well, split down the middle.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know where I'm
A
going
little
with
bit
this.
divided on this topic.
Yeah.
I call it the up at the crack of dawn scene.
No, I like it. You know what? I will say that like I don't really jump during horror movies. I actually like I'll take friends that I know will jump and it makes me laugh when they jump. I don't know why, but it makes me giggle when they jump. I'm like, that was cool.
Oh,
Huh? Like
yeah. Oh,
but this
yeah.
this movie made me cringe and jump a little bit at certain points because there is one thing that I cannot see in a movie, and that's where like in what is it, the Achilles tendon gets
I know.
sliced. My feet curve in, my toes crunch.
Mm-hmm.
That because I saw you're like jamming at that chick in the back, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? I can't even like I literally had to turn away, and I've never had to do that in such a long time since I was little. And then when you did that, everything, all my innies came more innies. So
Yeah. Now you know how us guys feel every time we see someone get kicked in the nuts in a movie or something like that. We're just like,
that was what I thought about too.
yeah. Yeah. It's just like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. It's like, oh, nay.
So was that did that take a long time to do that? Like, can you maybe walk us through a little bit of what that process was?
It was a very complicated scene to film because we filmed it in different locations too, dealing with different actors' time schedules because we had to film all of Jenna Cannell's stuff first, who played Tara, because she had to leave us to go film the Bye Bye Man. She was on set like 2 days later after leaving us, after wrapping with us. So we filmed all of her stuff first in New Jersey, and then the location we were at in New Jersey fell through because it was just kind of a dangerous place. And so we changed locations. So it was about a month or two later, we finished filming the scene with Catherine on Staten Island at an old mental hospital. And like the part that we were filming in had no heat, and it was badly damaged by the hurricane that came in 2012. And so it was very cold. It was in January, so it was like 20 degrees that night, and she's having to do all that naked, covered in blood, in 20-degree weather, hanging upside down. And we can only film like 30 seconds at a time because we had built this little apparatus so we could swing her back up, let her rest. Because it's very dangerous for a human being to be upside down for an extended period of time. So we were trying to do that. Then I think that was like the one night on set where no one was goofing around and being silly in between takes and stuff like that, because that was such a serious thing we were doing, very dangerous kind of stunt and very uncomfortable situation for her to be in. So we wanted to expedite things as quickly as possible, make her as comfortable as possible too. And so that was tough. The more fun stuff is when I had the prosthetic that I could actually cut through those. I was like, yay, let's do that. But that was also kind of a disgusting night too, because when we had originally planned to film it, we went in and that room had flooded from a snowstorm. And so we had to postpone for 2 weeks, but we had the intestines with us that night, and that were made out of, we used sausage casings and put fat inside of them. Well, our DP forgot to refrigerate them, and he just left them in his garage. And so 2 weeks later, we open them up, and it's just like,
rancid fat. Oh my
God,
Lord.
it was horrible. It's a good thing we weren't running sound that night, because you would have just heard the whole entire crew just. And it even got to me at one point because I accidentally cut into one of them with the hacksaw, and all of a sudden just rushes out, and I'm like, oh God. So that was a very interesting, but it was a fun night too, because I got to cut through that actual prosthetic with the hacksaw, and that was the joy you saw on my face during that was real joy. So,
well, I think that's a great point, right? So, where did you learn how to become so animated, right? Because there's obviously in the whole movie you're using your nonverbals. Where'd that all come from for you, David?
For me, I've been a lifelong student of physical comedy. Especially, I grew up watching a lot of the old silent films from back in the day. I loved, Chaplin, Keaton, Marx Brothers. Huge fan of those. Also, my aunt gifted me a box set of Mr. Bean videos when I was a teenager. And I would sit there and just watch those over and over and over and over and over and over, because I just love Rowan Atkins, it's like physical comedy. He's a master at that style of acting, and you don't see that kind of humor anymore. I'm like, maybe Jim Carrey's like the only example we really have in modern day times here in the United States, and I love that style of acting. So that's something I've been perfecting as an actor my whole entire life, because I just kind of emulated that, and I did a lot of children's theater growing up, and kids are more into the physical comedy than they are into the verbal comedy, and so I was able to do a lot of physical comedy growing up and really got to hone my skills. But what really helped fine tune everything was when I toured with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical, for 5 years. I was the understudy for the Grinch, and our Grinch was the wonderfully talented Stephen Carl, who played Robbie Rotten on the show Lazy Town. Is for little children. And Stephen actually was trained in clowning and physical comedy, and so he was a master at this. And he also was a huge fan of Rowan Atkinson and Jim Carrey, and so he basically took me under his wing, and he would look at what I was doing, and he would fine tune everything. He's like, okay, I see what you're doing. This is what will make it better if you react this way. And so that's one thing he really taught me, is how to react even more so to things. That's just more the exaggerated movements, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so when I was on set, I incorporated all of that into it, especially Stefan's teachings. I had moments on set where I just called it my "What would Stefan do?" moment. So I'm like, okay, how would he approach this scene right here? And I would just like, okay, he would probably do this. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do Stefan right now. So
that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Obviously,
oh, you're welcome.
You were born to play the part, apparently.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it. It's been a dream role, though, because I had always wanted to play a character like that, especially like a very Mr. Bean type of character. And when I saw All Hallows Eve, even before I even saw the auditions for Terrifier, I saw All Hallows Eve, and I looked at that character. I was like, oh my god, this character's kind of like an evil Mr. Bean. I would love to have a chance to play a character like this, because I think there's a lot of fun stuff I could do with it. And so when I saw the audition notice for this, I was like, oh my god, I have got to play this. This would be such a great opportunity. And that's why I contacted my reps. I'm like, you have got to send me in for this. I know I can do this. I know I can do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said about visualizing a goal and driving toward that goal no matter what. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, did you have any difficulties?
Oh, sometimes it's like more of my difficulties was having to get over my fear of injuring my fellow actors.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the funny thing for me. I play such a violent character, and I'm such a teddy bear in real life, so I don't want to hurt people. And so it's probably one of the most, like, I guess you could say, ironic things seeing me on set, where I'm made up so horrific, I'm covered in blood, and I'm doing these horrible things. They say cut, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I didn't hurt you. Are you your friend?" My first night on set was with Jenna, and Jenna has done a lot of stunt work, so she's used to doing fight scenes. And one of the first things I had to do is where I have to put my thumbs into her eyes and start pressing in like I'm trying to gouge her eyes out. And I was so hesitant about doing that, because I'm very sensitive about things with my eyes anyways, because I have a lot of eye problems, and I had eye surgery when I was a kid. So I'm just very, and I'm like, I don't want to hurt her. And she's like, no, please do actually press. Don't actually press onto my eyeballs, but like press above here and actually do stuff, or choke me. When you have to choke me, as like it gives me something to react off of. And those are the things I had to get used to. And like by the end of like the movie, when I'm having to like pull Samantha Scafidi back, who played Victoria, when I having to pull on her hair, they're like, go ahead and pull her hair. And I'm like, are you okay with it? And she's like, yeah, please don't wait. I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. Okay.
Aww.
But I had to get used to that. Yes, it's like because I'm a skinny little guy. I'm not this big, huge, strong brute like Kane Hodder. It's like Kane's strong.
He seems like he's like a big, like all the way around big dude. But you seem like you're
huge.
A tall person, though. I mean, I know
tall,
TV
yes.
looks different, but you do seem like you're a tall person. So.
I'm 6'2", so yeah.
Okay.
I'm a tall drink of water, I guess you could say. Yeah. Yeah. tall and skinny. I was like stretched out on a rack or something like that.
So, David, I know you get a lot of positive feedback for playing the character, right? Obviously, a lot of people are tuning in tonight. A lot of people, they love the character. Talk about some maybe of the negative feedback you've received about the character.
Very good question.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, like one thing that we've gotten a lot, and this is something that Damien and I are both kind of like, is people have said he's very misogynistic and that we're very misogynistic. And I'm like, oh gosh, you don't know Damien and I at all. We're very pro-feminist guys in real life. We're just like, no. It's like, you have to understand, Art is the bad guy. He's evil personified. We don't want people to like him.
Yeah.
And that's why he does these horrible things. And I'm like, I also say he's not just after women. He actually hurt more men in the film than women. It's just his thing with these two girls that he went after, actually 3 girls, is he was trying to break them psychologically. So he was doing whatever he could to break them down. So like, tying, Jenna's character Tara up to a chair and bisecting her friend right in front of her. He was trying to just break her. And then he couldn't, and he kills her. So I'm like, no, he's not misogynistic at all. He hates everybody equally. He's an equal opportunity killer, I say.
Hey, that's the best kind, of course.
Yes.
So, yes. No, but yeah, great point. Yeah, I was just wondering about that part of it specifically.
It's just funny how people don't. I'm like, yeah, he's the bad guy. You're not supposed to find any redeeming qualities with him.
That's right.
It's like,
and I think that's probably one of the appeals of Terrifier, right? It's you don't have sort of this person who you feel empathy toward or sympathy. It's right. Pretty much this is it. You're focusing on that bad part of the character.
Exactly, and it makes you question yourself when you actually find yourself laughing with him.
Yeah, good point. You're right.
You're like, why am I laughing at this? I really shouldn't be laughing at this.
It's like 'cause you're being like jerky, and it's like, why would you? Yeah, it's like when she like gets you in the foot with was that railroad nail or whatever?
Yeah,
you're just like, and then you're like, like that.
If that was a spur of the moment thing, they had said cut, and I was goofing around, and I was like, to Samantha, nice. And they caught it on film. The whole crew starts laughing, and Damien's like, that's kind of funny. Is because we had talked about maybe Art flicking someone off at one point in the movie, and he's like, I don't think he would do that. That seems too contrived.
It was perfect.
But it just works so well. It put that extra little spice, a little coda to that scene. It needed there. I was like, it was just a happy accident. We're like, oh, well, I'm glad we caught that on tape because it just happened organically.
Yeah, no, it was great. Actually, I have a couple questions for you too.
Sure.
In regards to Art's fighting ability, I guess. How do you feel about Art the Clown versus Freddy Krueger? Who do you think would win?
Oh God, the audience.
I know, right? There's a bunch of like Art versus this one, Art versus Kane Hodder.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's showing right now.
Oh my gosh! I mean, because I when I saw Freddy versus Jason, that fight scene between the two of them, I freaking loved because it was almost very Warner Brothers like. It was just, especially when they're in the dream world. It's just like, man, it's just like boom, 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 flying all around the place. I was like, this is entertaining, and I think a fight between Art and Freddy would definitely be a very entertaining fight, to say the least. I think Freddy would be like, dude, this guy is messed up.
And they would also like to know, who do you think Art the Clown should fight?
Oh gosh, I thought of this recently because I just saw the movie and it was Willy's Wonderland, and I was like, it would be so funny to see Art go up against Nick Cage's character because they're both silent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a very entertaining fight to see.
A non-verbal fight.
And two modern horror characters go up against each other. So yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. And then plus, because you guys aren't you're not supernatural or any kind of demon or anything. You're just
right.
It's kind of almost an equal playing field.
Right. Exactly. Okay. It's I will admit there are some supernatural aspects to Art that we explore in the second film. But we're not trying to go just, he's got amazing superpowers and now he can fly and teleport or blah blah blah. Like no, he's still.
I don't want to watch it then. Really?
Oh
God,
no,
that's lame.
It's
Oh my
more
God,
based
David.
in reality. So it's just like.
So let me ask you this question, and based on Nick Cage's performance in that film, I mean, how do you think he did with his nonverbal acting?
I thought he did pretty great. It's like it's a totally different character from Art. So it's like he's a very serious character. He's just like I'm just here to do my job. I'm just here. I'm going to do my job. That's it. Okay, time for my break.
Pretty
Play some paintball. And oh god, these guys again trying to kill me. God, going back. I'm trying to clean, guys. That's what I thought was so entertaining about it. Just like he was just so nonchalant, just like, okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
Joe, this questions, Joe. I didn't know. I interrupted you from reading your questions there, so please go ahead. Yes.
No, it was good. It was like I said. It was like a lot of
verses things.
Yeah, a lot of the same, basically. But I was curious though. I was thinking about it last night when I was watching because you are like completely silent. Like you, even when you got like hit with the railroad nail, like you made no noise. You just went like that. Did you ever slip up at all during any of the filming?
I would say more. It was with like an exhale of breath or something like that. That's like getting stabbed. Like when Jenna had to stab me with the knife when I was or the scalpel when I was stabbing her and we wrestled and she stabs me in the side. I had a little because it's an instinctual thing you want to do. It's just like the sounds, and I had to like stop myself because I wanted as much as possible to actually not make sounds. Because I just, for one, I think it makes it easier for the sound guys so they don't have to edit all that kind of stuff out. And number two, I think it just adds more believability to the character as well when I'm actually doing the silent screams. And it actually forces me to do more of that Lon Chaney type of acting, I guess you could say. Which is fun. I like it. It's a fun challenge. I would say the harder thing to do is to do the laughing without actually laughing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you do that?
I don't know. I just did it. It just kept that whole thing. But it's because it's to make it look like I'm actually laughing. I mean, I think like maybe one or two times. If they weren't filming with sound, they would actually just like, go ahead and just actually laugh. I'm like, cool, I'll do it.
Got a chance to speak and be allowed to speak. I'm sure it was.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just do a Joker laugh or something like that with it.
Well, you mentioned Lon Chaney, right? Obviously. Did you have a specific favorite role that Lon Chaney played that you liked?
Oh, God. God, I mean, I thought they were all just great. It's really hard to find one that's better than the others because they're all pretty good. Because I also sometimes get him and his son confused, but I mean, he was the Phantom of the Opera,
of course.
Right? Oh, Gravity!
Gravity, I love it. Just continue on, carry on.
Yes,
ignore the girl in the corner. Just keep going.
We're supposed to be in spring, not fall.
Here quietly.
Yeah, I would say like the Phantom of the Opera is such a great character he did there. So it's just like we actually had a moment on part 2 where we're filming, and it's a scene that happens later on in the film. And after I did the reaction, Damien's like, "Oh my God, dude!" It's like, you have to watch this playback. And I'm like, what? It's like, no, dude, you had a real total Lon Chaney moment. I don't know if you intended to do it, but it was such a Lon Chaney reaction. And I'm watching, I'm like, that was not planned. That's awesome. Holy crap, that's awesome. Yay. It's like, that's definitely the take we're using. I'm like, yeah, you better.
Oh, man.
It's a very horror, like old school silent horror, like reaction to stuff happening. I loved it. I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Actually, and I think the Art character, just the way, especially with the whites of the eyes, right? There's obviously a primal fear that we have whenever we see the whites of the eyes, and which Lon Chaney did, of course, in the Phantom, and also the long lost, what's it called, London After Midnight, where he plays the fake vampire. But a lot of that, right, which is what you do, which is I think one of the reasons why Art, one of the many reasons why Art is unsettling, just because you're constantly showing not only his eyes, but also his teeth, which are both very primal, fear-inducing. So that was yeah. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
That's something I've really enjoyed having with the makeup I have. Is it allows for that free expression of all my facial expressions, because it's a silicone mask or a gelatin mask, and it's very flexible, and it's almost like a skin. And so, I mean, it shows like the wrinkles in my forehead even when I do those things. It's just like, this is fantastic. I love it, because that was one of my big concerns, was like, what is this mask going to be like? Because with him being a silent character, but also being a clown, that was my main concern, is how expressive can I be? So when I first got in my makeup for the makeup test, I was in the bathroom. They were like, Dave, are you coming out? I'm like, yeah. And I was in there for a while just making faces, just so I could see how far I could go with my expressions. And I was like, oh, I can just go fully expressive, because I wanted to be as big as possible with my expressions, especially with the eyes and the mouth. But especially with the eyes, because I do a lot of eye acting in these movies, and it's a lot of fun to do that. You can tell so much with your eyes. You can show full range of emotions, and I like those scenes where I can be in a crazed situation, and then I can change to a different personality and you see it just in the eyes.
Yeah, it was very clear in that, and I want to commend you for the work you did with that.
Thank you. I've learned from the best. And
You said that Terrifier was your first horror film ever? Like, you've never even, nothing at all other than that? That was it?
No, that was my first one to act in. So, yeah.
So Terrifier 2 will be your second, or have you done any, like, horror?
Yeah, Terrifier 2 was my second horror film. But I've done some more since then. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We do have somebody wants to know if art is available for birthday parties.
He kills at them.
Right? And then, where did that other one go? Does David have anything non-horror planned out?
I do. I actually just got cast on an animated series for the Sesame Workshop. I can't say the name or anything like that yet, but I'm one of the main characters on that. I play a dad on that, but I'm also going to be doing a lot of other smaller characters on it as well, a lot of animals. Because what is kind of funny, because before I was doing this, I was doing stage work, and I was also doing a lot of voiceover work for children's animation, like Super Wings. I've done basically the whole entire season 2 is Super Wings. Anytime you heard an animal on that show, I was that animal. I would just go in. They're like, David, it's so much fun. They're like, David, we just need you to come in and do some sheep today or some goats. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, and they're like, here's some money. I'm like, this is great.
Why am I sitting here?
yeah, it's great. It's like, be a chicken today. Okay. This is fun. So it's
cool.
It's just funny. It's like, here I'm doing total opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm doing shows for little ones, like pre-K, and then I'm doing stab, blood, and silent for those. So go figure.
Oh my gosh, how does that feel, by the way, to know that? Do you ever wonder if any of those kids might grow up and know that? Oh my God, Art the Clown used to make the noises on the shows I watched as a kid.
It's like, when I discovered that Mark Hamill was the voice for the Joker, I'm like, Luke Skywalker? That's Luke Skywalker? But that's the thing. I'm like, I'm wondering how long until one of these animated shows I'm doing for kids, we can't use you because you do all this horror stuff. We're too afraid that people would make that connection. I'm like, oh, come on.
It was one time, man.
I only saw the girl in half once.
Oh my gosh! And Art kind of does look like a birthday party clown a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of dug about it too. It's like I could see Art at a birthday party, making the little poodle balloons, and then oh hey kid, pop.
Kind of like in The Mask, sorry kid, had to put it down. The dog was rabid.
There you go.
Another Jim Carrey reference, of course, which is great.
Oh, I love that movie. That's like something I would love to reboot and do it like the original comic books, which were very violent and gory.
Oh yeah, I didn't know
Because
that.
I think like the Deadpool movies prove that you can do that type of humor with a superhero, and
Right.
it works well. People will go and see it. So I'm like, hey, if anybody decides to reboot The Mask,
He's your guy.
I'm right here.
That's right. And he's very goal
Oh,
oriented, so you better watch out. He's going to come in audition. He's going to have that part regardless. So
Yeah, exactly. Somebody stop me!
oh my gosh! Somebody stop the Jamie Kennedy one. Like somebody go back in time.
I don't blame Jamie Kennedy for that. It was just the writing for that. It's just
Yeah,
like,
he's a good actor. He's funny, you
Mhm.
know. Like, but I mean, I know sometimes we got to pay our bills, but it just
Exactly. It was just
I
the
was not
writing.
feeling
It was
that.
just like, no.
Oh my gosh! Is I don't know if you can or not. So
Mhm.
if you can, it's cool. But can you talk anything about Terrifier 2, or is it
Yeah,
still kind of okay? I just
I can
wanted to be
talk
polite
about
and
it.
ask.
I just can't reveal like major plot details or any
No,
kills or anything like that. So, what do you want to know?
whatever you want to tell us. It's coming out
Okay.
this year, right?
Yeah, that's our plan is to get it out by Halloween. It's right now almost done being edited. I think I'd say it's about 75% completion with editing right now. So, and I think we might have to go back for a few pickups here or there, but that's easy. The hard
Yeah.
stuff's over. We've basically wrapped in late December, and they did. Well, I was basically wrapped in December, but they had to do some stuff recently with some last minute pickups for some other characters. But it's pretty much done. But it depends how quickly we can get distribution behind this. So we have to shop it once it's edited. We're going to start shopping it to distribution, and whoever picks that up, it's takes a few months for them to get all that kind of stuff planned out. But that's what we would really like to do is get it released by Halloween because it takes place on Halloween, so it's perfect time for that to be released. I don't know how it's going to get released. I'm hoping, I would love it to be in theaters, but knowing the content matter of this, I think would get a very, very hard R if, best case scenario would probably, have like NC-17 rating or something like that because we're not pulling back at all from what we were doing in the first film. Damien's like, we kind of we're like, did we set the bar too high for us with that hacksaw scene? We're like, well, might as well take this as a challenge to try to surpass that. So we're like, let's throw everything we can into this. And that's something it sounds weird to say, but the virus kind of helped us in that way because we started filming our big, huge kill scene in the movie right before the pandemic happened. And we filmed the first parts of it, and it was good enough. I mean, it made one of our crew members have to leave set because he was getting lightheaded. And so I was like, oh, and this is a huge horror guy too. And he was like, I gotta excuse myself, guys. This is too much. And that was before. And then the pandemic happens, and Damien's like, well, we don't know how long this is gonna be, but I mean, it's definitely setting us back. But instead of just twiddling my thumbs waiting for this pandemic to be over, might as well make the best of my time. So he went back and looked at what we had to finish filming. He's like, we got 2 big kill scenes we still have to film. I'm going to go back and look at them and look what I have, my ideas for it. He went back and looked at it, and then he just fleshed out those ideas even bigger. He's like, I got more time to build the prosthetics now. And so let's just go full out for these things. And so we did. And the big kill scene that we have in the movie, we went back in December to film it, and we basically scrapped everything we had originally filmed and came back with a whole new rendition of it. And I think it's going to knock it out of the park. It's a very brutal, mean, violent scene, and it keeps going and going and going. And it took about a week to film the scene because there's so many prosthetics and all these elements that are in the scene. And it's like Damien, even he loves to edit. So as soon as we filmed this, he was back I think, a day or so later editing the scene because he was so excited about it, and he texts me. He's like, "I'm getting nauseous, dude." And then he like shows his family a rough cut of it during Christmas, and they're all like, "Oh my god!" His mom's like, "Who are you? I did not raise you like this." And then we've been filming another film with some of our Terrifier team called Stream, and we have a lot of horror people involved. That's some big names in the horror industry. I can't really say right now, but so Damien, he's like, well, I'm going to go to the people in the industry and see what they think of this scene, the rough cut of it at least. And so it's like you would show these people and just see how they would react to it. And they're all just freaking out over it. So it's like, okay, if this is the reaction it's getting, that's a good reaction. So I'm excited for people to see the scene, but I think people are going to be very upset with me for this scene because it's mean. It's just so mean. But that's what we want. We want people to question if they like the character or not. It's because we have somebody. Oh, I love Art, but like you might be saying he's a jerk. He's an evil son of a bitch in this scene.
So expect your hate mail to increase after this whole situation.
I'm pretty sure, especially all those people. Oh, you misogynist. I'm like, oh.
Need a large box now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna get a lot of hate from people.
Oh my gosh! Just somebody in the comments said, "Art the Clown Christmas special just came to mind." That would be dope. Oh my god! If you had like legs hanging out of stockings on the hearth and shit.
Oh, it makes me think of the old Mitch Hedberg joke. What's the best stocking stuffer in the world? A severed foot. It's just like, yep. Oh yeah, but it's gonna be a fun film because we did address a lot of the criticisms we had from the first film, and I think one of the main criticisms was it was light on plot and light on character development. And Damien's like, I mean, we intentionally did that because we wanted that all basically happen in real time. So we wanted the audience to be just as clueless as the victims about what the heck is going on, why is this happening. And so that's why we did that. We're also kind of a throwback to the old B movies from the 70s anyway that were very light on plot. It was all about just the kills and the action and everything like that. So I mean, we still are very actioning, kill scenes, all that kind of stuff in Terrifier 2, but we also want to focus more on developing the characters, especially our new heroine in this, Sienna. Because this is a character Damien has had in his head for over a decade. It's a character he's wanted to bring to life for a long time. He loves this character. She's a very, Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley type of character.
Ooh.
I love her. I love the relationship she has with her brother and her mom in this, and her friends. Her friends are great. Like their personalities are fantastic. They all work off of each other so well. I've been able to see some of the scenes that I'm not in with like this character and her friends, and just seeing those actresses and the actors all play off of each other. I'm like, oh my god, they're so good. I'm just it's a very entertaining movie. Even the scenes Art's not in are entertaining scenes in themselves, and I think that's important. It's like yeah, it's not all about Art, but Art is not going to be just in 5 minutes of the movie. He's front and center too. So I would say it's a nice balance of Art and Sienna in this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the comments, and Joe, now I understand how to read the comments. And Rich is asking, got to ask, what was with all the poop in the first movie? But he clarifies. But he clarifies in the restaurant as a so thank you. But thank you very much. Yes, of course. So it's a good question, right? Because it's definitely something that comes up. So.
Well, it's just Art's doing what he can. Is like he's like he likes to mess with people, and what is one of the worst things that can happen in a restaurant is someone destroys the bathroom. I worked in restaurants for 13 years. Those are real situations that do happen, and it's one of those things like I'm not paid enough to clean that up. Someone else, that's above my pay grade. So the management's got to do that. I am not doing that. So there's like. I think that's I thought it was brilliant. I was like, this is it shows how depraved this character is. I call him a shartist. So it's like, you can't have shart without art. So it's like, good God. I'm like, what a jerk that go in there and do that to these people. This guy's paid minimum wage to make pizzas, and now he has to go clean this up. And then you're gonna cut off his hand and stab him in the face. I'm like, man.
Fucking savage. God, what's wrong with people?
See, he's an essential worker.
Oh my gosh. I have another question for you. If it didn't run away too quickly, because there was more comments that came up. Do you want the Terrifier to have many sequels, or are you good with just part 2 for right now?
Oh, we at least want to do 3. Damien's had a trilogy in mind this whole entire time. He's got a story arc he wants to at least deliver. But I mean, we're totally open to doing more after that, but we don't want to get into the campy type of situation, sending him off into outer space or something like that. So it's like, if we do make more after part 3, then it's got to be a fun story to tell. It's got to be something to further develop the character more. And we have a fun way, I would say, that to end part 3 that we came up with it, where it's like it's one of those things where it would be a nice, satisfying way to wrap up what happens to the character, but it's also a way where you could probably still bring him back in a fun way. But it leaves things open, but it would also be a nice closure for the character too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So I don't know if you are familiar with the Oliver syndrome from the Brady Bunch. Did either way of you hear about that? Right. It was after a little
Cousin
while.
Oliver.
Yes, Cousin Oliver was brought on because the show was kind of dipping a bit in ratings, so they brought on Oliver, and then the show tanked soon after. And poor Oliver is blamed, and it's called the Oliver syndrome. So I'm not saying they're going to bring Art's, younger kids in or whatever, but it's just be interesting when you start thinking of that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's like, we definitely want to. That's like something we strive to. Is just to keep it in that same, concept that it started off with. So, and that's a fine line that we keep walking on set. Anyways, is how campy can we get without getting campy? Like how because having to walk that line of humorous but not just slapsticky, going full on just crazy with it, but keeping like that the horror elements and the comedy where they're kind of balanced with each other. And I think that's why Damien and I work so well together. Is he's the horror guy. He's really good at coming up with just sick, depraved, scary situations. I am the comedy guy, and I can think of funny little things to do. And we're always bouncing ideas off each other. And we'll even do different versions of a scene. He'll have his idea for it, and he's like, "Okay, David, I want you to do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way." And I'm like, "Cool." And then he's like, "Okay, now do your thing with it." And I'm like, "Cool." And we'll just see what we can come up with out of that, and we'll see what works best in that situation. I think a good example of that was the torture scene in part 1, where I have Tara tied up to the chair, and I'm playing with the different toys in my bag, the hatchet and stuff like that. And I did those serious, scarier things with it, but I also did some silly things as well. There was like this one thing I remember was a big pole, and it had a big, huge spike going out perpendicular to it. And I basically was doing the old Johnny Carson golf swing bit to her kneecaps, like I was going to hit her kneecaps with it. And I was like, "Aha, got ya." And stuff like that. And it's like, it was making the crew laugh, but then we're like, "Oh, is this going to be too funny for this scene? Because this is where the big kill scene happens. So we can't get too hilarious with things when the horrible, horrible thing is just about to happen." So, okay. So, okay, well, let's get back to more him just being more threatening than funny right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the final product had a nice balance, right? And you always want to insert a little bit of kind of that breathing room for the audiences in any of these films for that too. So,
I think it takes an audience on a better roller coaster ride that way. So it's not just constant scare. You scare them, Then you add a little levity to it, and they're like, they can breathe, and like, so you can, boom, get them again with another scare.
That's right.
There was some unexpected stuff in there too. Like all of a sudden, you whipped out a damn gun. Like,
yes,
what the?
Oh yeah.
Like, we laughed so hard, and we looked at each other like, "What the fuck just happened?" This fool got like a cat of nine tails made out of scissors and shit. He got like a big Christmas bag, and then he pulled out a gun.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you more about the cat of nine tails in a second. But going off the gun thing, that was probably one of my favorite moments seeing that with an audience. The first screening we did is the different reactions that all happened at the same time in the audience. You had people that screamed because they just got scared because that bam out of nowhere, they just didn't expect it. Had other people that were like, bullshit. Bullshit. That other people can start.
I was that person for a second. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, you can't use a gun, or you can't kill off the main. That's the heroine. You can't kill her off. And then other people was like, yes, yes. And I thought that was so cool to see all those different reactions happen at once. I was like, that's exactly what we were hoping for. Because when we filmed it that night, I was like, we're gonna piss off some people with this scene, and I think that's great. I hope we do piss some people off. It's like, because they're not gonna expect this. No one expects a gun in a slasher movie. It's been done before. They did it in Maniac. They did it in Scream and stuff like that. But but still, no one was expecting it, and that's what we wanted to do with this character. We wanted to. That was the moment. It was I call it the Willy Wonka moment, where if you know the reference, where Gene Wilder, when he makes his first appearance in the movie, he comes out hobbling with a cane and does the roll, and he's like, haha, I'm fine. And Gene Wilder fought for that moment in the movie because he's like, I want this to be the moment where people realize that you can't predict the guy. You expect the unexpected from this character from now on. And that's what we want to do with art there. It's like, you don't know what he's going to do. He could kill off the female lead like that. It's like, and you don't know. He might pull something out of somewhere. You don't know what he's going to do. Because I think, if anything, people thought maybe he'll bring out a squirting flower, do something clownish, but no one expected a gun. Just a bam.
That's right.
No. We're like, what the hell? It was great.
Oh, I loved it. And then he doesn't use it like, a typical person would use a gun. Like most people would just like, boom, boom, you're dead. He disfigures her face. He uses it as a slasher would, and just disfigures her with it. And I thought that was really good. But he's also not doing it's a kill unlike the other kills in the movie where you can even tell he's kind of pissed off that he had to use a gun.
He did seem kind of bored. That's why he went and got the gun. Because I was even like, oh, she's no fun anymore, I bet.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done. Because he realized he couldn't break her. That as much as he has put this girl through, he could not break her mentally. It's kind of like that the Killing Joke reference with where Joker tried to break Commissioner Gordon by doing all those horrible things to Barbara and forcing him to watch and see all these photos of her. His whole goal was to show that anybody can have one bad day.
Right.
One bad day can reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. And that's actually what I think is the plot of Terrifier. It's the story of Victoria. So what brought this woman you see at the very beginning of the movie, what brought her, a perfectly normal college girl that had her life out, you see that she's a very even-keeled character. What brought her to being a psychopathic killer that goes out and tries to gouge out this female host's eyes right after a television appearance? And that's what it is. It's that one bad day that she had that broke her. And that's what Art was trying to do to Tara. And he's like, I can't break her. I'm going to kill her. Oh, well, her sister's on the way. Game on.
That's a really great analogy to the Killing Joke. Actually, I never thought about that until now.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my reference basically.
That's
in the
pretty good.
movie. I was like, this is the Killing Joke story basically.
Yeah.
It is. That's what I love about the character, because people's like, why is he doing it? It's like, well, he's doing it because it's the homeless woman points this out. It's like, he's doing it because it's funny to him. He's the anti-clown. clowns are here to entertain people and bring joy to people. Art is here to bring misery to people, to entertain himself.
Very true.
That's why he does what he does. He does all this killing for fun, for his own amusement. And I think that's scary. That there could be someone out there that's like, he's not doing this out of revenge. He's doing it because he just came across you one night and it's like, you'd be fun to kill.
That is what makes it scary, right? Because anybody, at any time, can be a victim just by being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, I've had people ask me, it's like, if the girls at the beginning of the movie, if they hadn't made fun of him, would he still have killed him? I'm like, of course he would have.
Right.
He's like, he just came across him. It's like, as soon as he sees him, you see his eyes light up. He's like, there's my prey.
Oh my gosh. That movie is just amazing. I'm thinking about now the pizza place and other stuff that goes on after that. And I can't wait till the second one comes out. I hope it does get finished up and released somewhere around Halloween at least, because I want to see what happens next. There was kind of the feeling that maybe not at the end. I was kind of thinking like, well, I know there's a second one coming. Is he going to have an eye patch in the next one, or what's going to happen?
We'll see.
A robotic eye or something.
I will say we definitely addressed that whole aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, he's back from the dead, and yeah, he does have a missing eye at one point. But we address it without going slamming you in the face with the go, oh, well, this is what happens, and blah 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 blah. We infer some things.
Okay.
And it's like we don't want to treat the audience like they're stupid, and we have to just tell them everything. It's like we want people to figure things out for themselves.
Right, so no 5-minute exposition about everything that's happened. I like that.
It's like we know you're smart, and we have clues in the movie too. If you about certain things, certain characters and stuff like that. It's like there's some clues here or there if you're really paying attention. So I'm very interested to see who picks up on some certain things.
So some Easter eggs in there possibly.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that. I like it.
Oh yes.
Oh. Well, guys, we are almost out of time for the evening.
Oh no! It goes by so fast.
Unless your remarks out whether like time has no meaning, so
it's all relative.
Yeah. There's no concept of time in Vegas, so.
Right. That's a reference to me being in Vegas at the moment, so thank you. I was trying to get where you're getting at, so yes.
I'm just going to sit here and act like I'm not peanut butter and jealous right now, so I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm actually hoping to get out to Vegas, possibly in May for Days of the Dead. It just depends if they have extra room and stuff like that. But if not this year, hopefully later on I can get out there again. Because I was supposed to go there last year, but then the pandemic happened, so it's like, we'll see. I'll get there eventually.
Fingers crossed. If you haven't yet, you should check out Texas Frightmare.
I'm going this year.
Oh, are you? Me too.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm having a booth or what. I don't know. I just know I'm going.
I'm excited. I'm very excited because I hear that one's huge.
I've been there once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I sat with Lance Hendrickson from Pumpkinhead.
Oh yes.
My friend messed with me because he just wanders around and he walks around with everybody like whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like he's so cool and chill.
Oh yeah.
And my friend was messing with me because my friend smoked cigars, and I guess he had, I think the year before he might have sat with them and hung out and stuff, and then they kind of like hey to him again, and they're like hey go take him a cigar, and I was like I don't want to go over there. And they're like, just do it. And I'm like, oh, and I took a shot and I went over there and I was like, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm a big fan. And can I give you a cigar? Like, I didn't really even know how to approach it. They just threw a cigar in my face and said, take it to me. Do I smoke it? But, and he was so nice. And he just kind of looked at me and he goes, no, he goes, if you wouldn't mind sitting with me, that'd be cool. He goes, but I don't smoke cigars. And I was like, I could sit, really? Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. But then I walked away with a cigar, so it was cool.
And he got a good story out of it, too.
And I got a good story. Yeah. He was so cool, but I guess he goes every year, so.
That's awesome. I met him at my very first convention, and I was very shy then, so I was just like, ooh. But I was sitting with God, who was I sitting with? I'm trying to remember right now. Tyler Maine. We're sitting there, and Tyler just calls Lance over. Lance, come over here. I want you to meet David and Damien. And I think Damien and I are both like,
Do you know who that is?
He's like, oh my god, it'd be cool.
It's like, don't spaz out. They're people too. It's cool.
yeah. Because that was both of our first conventions. Being on that side of things, we're just like, okay, oh my god, we're meeting everybody that we've watched in the movies our whole entire life. Oh my god, we don't deserve to be here.
It's like Wayne and Garth. We're not worthy.
Exactly. It's like, and now it's like we see these guys. We're like, hey. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hope more conventions go through this year, and hopefully I can run into you at one. That'd be freaking dope.
Exactly. We'll hang out. I won't smoke a cigar, but I'll at least get a drink or something like that. So
for sure.
yeah.
I'm down.
I will tell you, Damien loves his Captain and Diet Coke.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So that's his drink of choice. So there you go.
Okay. I'll keep that somewhere in there.
I'll drink whatever someone puts in my hand, basically. But I'm not a huge drinker, but because I'm such a lightweight, so I will drink at least one or two. Damon makes fun of me. He's like, Dave, you gotta drink more. I'm like, no, man.
Oh, then don't hang out with me because you'll get in trouble real quick.
Oh no, it's funny. Like Damien and I, our personalities flip when we drink. I become very chill and laid back. He becomes woo.
Bang bang.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's like we become each other.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Yeah. We're at time.
All right. Well, this was fun chatting with you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time because, like I said, I know you're a very busy man. You got stuff going on. You probably got everybody up your butt wanting to come be on shows. And I appreciate that you came on mine. And Mark, I appreciate you coming and helping me co-host tonight.
Hey, it's a nice balance of what we do. And like I said, David, my show is a little more kind of digging a little bit deeper about things even beyond entertainment. So if that's something you're interested in.
Of course. Yeah, that would be fun. That would definitely be fun.
Love to have you on then.
Of course.
And just in case you guys don't know, Mark's new show is called Brain Burrow, and the link are in the description.
Oh, that's nice.
As well as David's for his IMDb and social media, so you guys can check them both out if you haven't already. I mean, come on, get with the guys. Come on.
Come on, people.
Come on, now. Don't
guys. Look, you got a voice out of me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Thank you all for joining tonight. Everybody, the viewers, you guys as well. And you guys join me tomorrow night. I'll be back with some kind of random ass rock or horror topic, just to babble for at least a half an hour.
Nice.
So, oh my gosh. All right, you guys.
Oh my God, I was sitting there for so long. I was like,
now you get the death scare for
you.
I know, I'm sorry. I don't have the COVID. It's just my daily sneeze. I have a daily sneeze.
You keep your stupid beer bugs to yourself.
I'm sorry.
I don't want that. All right, you creepy bastards. I love you guys to death. And if this will go so that I can do it smoothly, I hope you all have nightmares about me. So, good night.
Good night.